Good evening. This is the 6th session of the Faculty Development Program organized by East Wing, DDE, Annamala University. I am happy to meet you all through this video meeting. I have to concentrate on citation formatting, how to arrange footnotes or endnotes. Okay, what is a citation or what is a reference? Why we are citing the references or the information taken from the source or evidences? Generally speaking, accounts of the past are derived from sources or evidences. Generally, history is or accounts of the past are being derived from sources or evidences. We historians are fully relying on the sources or the evidences for constructing the history. There is no history without the records. So under this provocation, we are going to say that there is no record, there is no history. There are a lot of records. There are a lot of sources, evidences to construct the history. For example, we may refer a lot books, research papers, pamphlets, leaflets, bulletins, magazines, journals, proceedings, newspapers, yearbooks, gazetteers, poems, inscriptions, essays, lectures, government orders, letter correspondence, legal papers, citations, classical work, scriptural literatures, field observation, oral data, inscriptions, artifacts, digital data, etc. etc. We are having lot of data, lot of sources to construct the history. After consulting the data or the sources, we have to do something. That is, we have to frame the content or the statement. After framing the content, we have to concentrate on reference. Reference is nothing but act of referring the source. Act of referring the source is called as referring. The material is called as references. So there are a lot of sources, evidences. We have to do something, that is we are going to refer the sources or the evidences. The act is considered as referencing. The referencing. The referencing is varying according to the nature of the study or nature of the topic. For example, suppose we have to select a topic on Indian national movement. We have to have a set of data or source or evidence. For example, being a historian concentrating on Indian freedom struggle, I have been collecting lot of data, particularly fortnightly reports, Undersecretary Safe Files, History of Freedom Movement bundles, proceedings, native newspaper reports. So these are the major records being availed for the construction of history related to Indian freedom struggle in a major level or minor. So similarly, that is data, evidence, or the source is differing according to the nature of the study or nature of the topic. So after collecting data, we have to frame the content, and then we are going to arrange the references. For example, there are a lot of books. The books are considered as sources or evidences. Reference means what about the book? Who is the author? When it is written? When it was published? So these are the references. There are a number of research papers. That what about the research paper? Who is the author? Where it is published? That is reference. Reference. Reference is nothing but act of referring the source. Act of referring the source. The source is a major one. From the major one, we have to pick up someone and begin to refer. The references may be placed in two methods. One is footnote and another one is endnote. I have to repeat the same. There are a lot of sources, books, newspapers, etc., etc. We have to refer the source or evidence, and then we have to make the content and then place the references, the details of the sources. The sources or the evidences may be placed in two different places, in the research work or in the research paper. Where to place the citations or the references? For example, one journal, that is, there is an article in the journal, that is a reference, fourth volume, authored by so and so, etc., etc. So where to place the reference? Suppose it is placed at the end of the page, that is called as footnote, the reference, the name of the article, the name of the author, volume, year of the publication, page number, etc., etc., taken from the particular journal must be placed either at the end of the page or end of the paper or dissertation. The references may be placed. The references may be placed either at the end of the page or end of the research paper or dissertation. So there are two possibilities. In the case of history, the discipline of history, there are only two chances to place the references. That is at the end of the page, and another one at the end of the paper or dissertation. Why we are citing the references? For example, there is a record. Why we are citing the reference? We have to write the content, the statement. At the end of the statement, we have to refer some references. We have to place some references in 1, 2, 3 order. Why? To indicate the authenticity, originality of the statement in the content. To confirm that this is the original statement. This is the concrete statement. History is a concrete one. It is based on, that is, illustrations, evidences, etc., etc. So there is a statement, automatically there must be a reference. So otherwise it never be considered as history. It may be considered as a myth or semi-history. So there is a statement, automatically there will be a reference. Reference may be a book reference or an article from the journal, that is GO from the proceedings, some article from the magazine, some data from the census, etc., etc. And another one is why we are giving footnote or endnotes, totally called citation, to give more insight into the research to the readers. The researchers must get more insight, more understanding into the research work, our research work. It should be that the readers must have some enlightenment and insight into the research work. They begin to feel that it is correct, appropriate, it is unbiased. That's why we are going to give some references, either in the form of footnote or endnote. And another purpose is enable the readers to refer further the cited sources. I have referred a book written by Tarachand. Suppose the reader is going to refer Tarachand. Again, suppose the time permits the reader, there is some possibility to refer the book written by Tarachand. So the references, the footnote or the endnote, drag the readers to get into more information from the reference we have cited. And another one is why the citation. What is the purpose of the citation? What is the purpose of the footnote? What is the purpose of the endnotes? To support the particular claim or the claims of the researcher. For example, I am going to say that I have stated in my thesis that Gandhi has visited Annamalai University in the year 1934. This is the content. This is the statement in the text. This is the content statement in the text in my work or in my thesis. I claim that Gandhi visited Annamalai University in the year 1934. To confirm that information, I have given the reference at the part, either at the bottom of the page or at the end of the research paper. The reference is the paper origin dated February 1934. So without a reference, there is no possibility to confirm our ideas. So confirm our ideas, our claims, there is a requirement for placing citations, the references, either in the form of footnote or endnotes. And another one is purpose of citation. My work proclaims that the work is great, the work is intensive, it is totally 100% out and out, strengthful, strong. To claim this is wonderful, extensive, elaborate, perfect. To claim that is we are going to seek the support of the references or the citations. For example, in my case, my PhD work consisting of 6 chapters. The last major chapter, the main chapter, is consisting of more than 150 references. Except the EBID and offset. 150 references. That means I have exhausted almost all the energy towards constructing the chapter, the last chapter in my thesis. So it proclaim that the content, the subject matter, the text is very strong, appropriate, extensive. There is no reference that it never be considered as a research paper. There is no guarantee to confirm that it is an authentic one. So to prove that it is an authentic one, it is extensive, it is full-fledged one. The references are extending some helping hand to us. So these are the purpose. To prove that in general, in total, in short, we have to say that the references, the citations are helpful to utter that this is an extensive work. It is 100% full-fledged one. So for that purposes that we are going to cite references either at the end of the page or at the end of the paper. There are three common citation styles. There are three common citation styles in the case of humanities. That is APA, American Psychological Association, APA. That style, that method, that formula is used by education, psychology, and researchers in sciences, APA. Those who are doing research in education, psychology, and sciences, they are applying this style, this method of citing references. And another one is MLA, Modern Language Association. The researchers working on humanities are using this MLA style formats. And another one is Chicago or Turabian style. Chicago or Turabian style of citation. This is used by business, history, and fine arts. Those who are doing the research in the field of business, history, and the fine arts, we are using the Chicago manual style or Turabian manuals. Both are the same. That is Turabian, the author, that the full name is Kadeyal Turabian, authored a work entitled A Manual for Writers of Term Purpose, Thesis, and Dissertations. A Manual for Writers of Term Purpose, Thesis, and Dissertation. It was published in the year 1967, published by University of Chicago Press. As it was published by Chicago Press, it is called as Chicago Manual. As it is authored by Turabian, it is called as Turabian Manual. The Turabian Manual style is widely used by historians and scholars. Commonly used by historians. Comparatively speaking, the fine arts and as well as the business. Widely used. European style or Chicago manual style is widely used by the scholars across the world. In our university library, we are having one copy of the first edition, which was published in the year 1967. We are considering it as a holy book, because we are having only one copy. I am also having a Xerox copy of it. So we are using that in the Department of History. The students of Department of History are using this Turabian style. The 9th edition of the book, Turabian book, that is a manual for writers of term purpose, thesis, and dissertation, has come out recently The price of the hard copy is only rupees 461. The hard copy is only 461. The e-copy is only 952. It is easily procurable. So that is it. Means the students may, the scholars may obtain the same easily. And apart from these three styles, there are a number of styles to refer for citations. That is ACM, ACS, ABNT, Forward Style, IEEE, Vancouver. So number of styles. How to cite, how to frame bibliography, etc. etc. For that purpose, we are referring a lot of books, but in the case of history, it is advisable to refer the Chicago Manual or the Turabian. Both are the same. The dedicated users of Turabian Manual used to call it Turabian Manual instead of Chicago Manual. In the name of the author, Cadet D. Turabian. Okay. Suppose we are going to place the references at the end of the page. Suppose we are going to place the references 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. etc. At the end of the page, what would be the advantage? For example, the first one makes the readers to locate citations easily. So there is a content, immediately there is a reference, or there are references. So automatically, suppose we are placing the footnotes at the end of the page, this is the convenience. Makes the readers to locate the citations easily. And the second advantage is guides the readers directly, instantly about the reference. Simultaneously, the reader is going to refer both the content as well as the reference. It makes the reader easy to refer both the content as well as the references. And another advantage is the printing. Automatically, both the content as well as the references may be printed in a particular page, making suitable alignment. So it is easy. Some of the people are saying that it is easy to place the references at the end of the page is easy because it is going on automatically by the computer. And another one is simple to link the subject of the text with a footnote. The same thing. There is a content and automatically at the end of the page there is a footnote. So automatically the reader is going to link the subject along with the footnote. And another one, what about the advantage? Suppose we are going to give the references at the end of the paper, the research paper or the dissertation. No distraction to the readers. The running matter is over, and then at the end of the paper or the chapter, suppose the references are given, there should not be any distraction to the readers. Another one is all the details of the references and the supplementary information in one located section. All the references, for example, that is the references are given at the end of the paper or end of the chapter in a particular page. In a particular page, there may be a lot of references, 1 to 20, 1 to 15 or 1 to 10, etc. etc. So that is we are going to give all the references in a particular page according to its capacity. So for a chapter, for placing the citation, 3 or 4 pages is enough to give all the information relating to the reference. 4 or 5 pages is enough to provide entire references for a single chapter. For a case, in the case of a paper, 1 or 2 pages is enough to give all the references pertaining to the paper. So that is, most of the references are to be given in 1 or 2 pages or more than the pages. And another convenience is advantage is readers can read all the references and the notes at once at the same time. Endnotes do not clutter the pages, litter up the pages. Suppose the footnotes, endnotes are given at the end of the dissertation or the paper. It will be easy as well as simple. At the same time, the references do not give any unnecessary inconveniences in the case of the readers. It will be so simple, polished, clear. Suppose we are going to give the references at the end of the paper. Disadvantages. What are the disadvantages? If the references are given at the end of the page, what are the disadvantages? Too many footnotes. There is a content, there are text. At the same time, followed by the text or the statement. Suppose we are going to give 4-3 footnotes. It will make the page complicated. Dirty. And another one is adding a lot of information in one footnote may distract the readers. That is, giving both the content or the statement as well as the footnote in a particular page automatically may distract the readers, distract the reading. If there are multiple columns, for example, there is a page, some content, some statement, and then it follows a table, and then it follows a chart, how to arrange, how to align. Sometimes there may be some possibility for moving of the references to another place. So, technically speaking, arranging footnotes is not cumbersome as well as risky. And what about the advantages of endnotes? Suppose we are going to give the endnotes at the end of the chapter or at the end of the thesis or end of the research paper. What are the advantages, disadvantages? Every time the reader should go to the another section to refer the references, the data. There must be an oscillation here and there. How to read? What about the footnote? Similarly, as the content, the text as well as the references are segmented into two. Using endnotes can be confusing sometimes if there are different chapters. So it is okay. Another one is if continuity of the endnote number changes. Suppose a number changes. Unknowingly, suppose that is the paper is consisting, a research paper is consisting of 25 footnote. Unknowingly some mistakes happened. How to rectify the mistake? All the references are in a page are to suppose there is a correction. How to make the correction? Suppose there is a correction in the page, in a particular page, it will be corrected. but it will be very risky as well as difficult making corrections. Suppose there happen some mistakes. We have to arrange the number, we have to correct the references, compare and correct the references, etc. etc. These are some of the uh, disadvantages of referring or placing references at the foot of the page, end of the page, or end of the paper, or end of the chapter, or end of the thesis. So what are the things to be cited? There are a lot of sources: books, magazines, newspapers, letter correspondences, GOs, proceedings, inscriptions, artifacts, etc. etc. There are a lot of sources. So, what are the sources? What are the reference to be cited? For example, in the year 1923, the Madras Congress Council resolved to prepare 5,000 paper flags as well as 500 Qadar flags to supply free. This is the content. The reference is the references. This is the matter. This is the subject matter. That is subject matter, the content or the statement taken from the source. Taken from a source. That is the Madras Congress Council resolved to prepare 500 paper flags and 5,000 paper flags and 500 Qadar flags in the year 1923. The evidence is, the reference is, that is Under Secretary Safe File number 430 dated 3/7/1923. So facts, the facts are being ordered, and thereby on the other side the references must be also ordered. So facts must be cited. Facts taken from the source along with the reference must be cited. For example, we are taking different kinds of sources. For example, summary, some content. We are referring some book and begin to take up some references. Summary, brief description from the larger passage. We are taking some references from the book, that is called a summary. Summary may be placed in the content. Automatically, we have to refer some references. And paraphrases, restatement, somewhat brief statements may be included in the content. Quotations may be included in the content. So summary may be included, paraphrases may be included, quotations may be included, etc. etc. So in the manner, in the way, on the other side, we have to refer references. Otherwise, it will be unauthenticated, unauthorized. So facts, the references confirming, guaranteeing some facts must be cited. not to cite. There is no necessity to cite a reference or references. There is no, in some cases, there is no need to cite references. For example, India obtained independence in the year 1947. It is an ordinary fact. It is a common knowledge. So there is no need for citation or a reference for this case. Common knowledge. Suppose it is a common knowledge. Suppose it is a well-known fact. There is no need to cite reference. Suppose it is unfamiliar. It is rare. There in that cases, we have to refer references. So we have to consider here two things. If there is a fact, unknown fact, automatically there must be parallelly some reference. Suppose there is a well-known fact or a common knowledge, there is no need to place citation or references. So common facts does not need any references, but facts does need references. What are the consideration? We are going to arrange footnote, or we are going to arrange endnotes at the end of the page or end of the paper. What are the consideration? What are the things to be kept in our mind? Whatever may be the reference, it may be a GO, or it may be a statement from a book, etc., etc. You should be arranged in right order. For example, it is a book, first author, and then title, etc., etc. So that is whatever may be, it may be a primary one or it may be a secondary, etc., etc. It must be arranged as per the direction of European manual arrangement. That number must be given consecutively throughout the research paper. It is a simple one. The research paper is a simple one. That's why there is no need to give numbers here and there. Continuous number 1 to 25, 1 to 30, etc., etc. So the number should be given continuously throughout the pages. And another one is each reference must be in a separate single, separate single set. For example, one reference, that is R.C. Majumdar, and then title of the book, and then place, and then publisher, and then year of publishing, etc., etc. These should be put into a bracket, ordinary bracket, not square bracket, and then we have to close the bracket, and then we have to put comma, and then we have to print P, and then again dot, and then page number, and then we ended up with a dot. So we have to, whatever the reference, it may be a book or GO or a legal paper, etc., etc. They must be arranged in an order as per the direction of the manual. Manual written by Durabian, a manual for writers of team purpose, thesis, and dissertations. And each reference must be in a separate single set. Okay, one by one we have to type. After keeping some norms, we have to place some tab, etc., etc. Spacing should be as per the norms, as directed by the manual. We have to be obliged to put punctuation marks, comma, full stop, colon, semicolon, etc., etc. And we have to understand the difference between the citation, that is a reference, and the bibliography. There are a lot of differences between the citation as well as the bibliography. The major one is, in the case of a reference or in the citation, there must be some page number. In the case of bibliography, it should not be there. Definitely 100%, the page should not be there in the bibliography of a particular work. And that is arrangement of the author. In the case of citation as well as the bibliography, arrangement of the author, name of the author is totally varying. So under this provocation, under this, we have to understand the difference between the citation as well as the bibliography. And another thing is, we should be very careful by arranging the citations or the references. That is the titles, honors, and degrees obtained by the authors not to be given. Simply we have to write initial, name, etc., etc. So we are using citations, references to exhibit our nature of our work, that is quality of our work. References supporting our claims, supporting our statements. Openly, the references are thundering that this is great, this is unbiased, it is objective. So for that purpose, we are giving references. At the same time, that is, we never consider that the numbers, more the numbers, more, that is, don't, we never consider that more the number of references means equal to more the no? So references are to support our statement. The references are to support the author. References are to support our claim as well as to proclaim the authenticity of the work, our work. Sometimes the scholars are asking, for the article, what should be the amount of the references? It should be 100, it should be 50, it should be 20. Numbers doesn't matter, but the quantity or the statement, the text is the matter, not the matter, the number. So we have to concentrate on the quality, not on the number. Suppose we have to give more input, automatically the quality will be improving as well as the number will be also the same. By considering these above things, we have to refer that till that which is useful. The use of endnote in research paper is appropriate and advisable. Which is appropriate. We are speaking about consideration. This is correct. This must be done. Spacing should be there. Proper punctuation must be there. There is a difference between the citation and bibliography. Okay, we should avoid some errors. There should not be any titles, honors, etc., etc. So similarly, we have to consider, we have to prefer which is right. The right as per the historians. In the case of the research paper, the use of endnotes is considered as appropriate and advisable, apt, suitable, complete, as well as pertinent. 100%. Generally, we are accepting that instead of footnote, it is better to opt for endnotes. Endnotes is nothing but references placed at the end of the page, end of the paper. So we are going to see some of the references. They're already by the initiation of the presentation, I have referred a lot of sources, evidences. That is, references or citations may be classified into three. First time references, second or more time references, the third one cross references. Now we are going to see some of the references. What are the technical items behind the same while using cite? For example, suppose we are going to refer one book. Already that is our article is over, the content portion is over. We are going to frame the endnotes. We are going to place the references at the end of the page, or suppose you are willing, you are going to place the references at the end of the page. So it is your choice, but generally accepted is for a paper it should be the references should be at the end of the paper. Okay, so we are going to refer one book as a reference. Generally book is a source. Books are used for constructing the study. For example, there is a book we are going to use as a reference. It is authored by one author, that is C.J. Baker. For example, C.J. Baker. We are putting C and then dot J dot Baker and then the title of the work, The Politics of South India, 1920-37. It should be the title has been italicized. And then bracket, ordinary bracket, not square bracket. New Delhi, colon, and then details about the publication, and then year of publishing. Again we are going to close, and then again comma, and then small p, and then dot, and then page number, and then dot, full stop. This is the ordinary formatting of a reference as per the Chicago manual or Thurabing manual. So this is a format. We have to have a look into it, and we have to observe what are the things to be done by typing. Even the full stop is a matter of great thing. There should not be any negligence in the case of dot, full stop, etc., etc. We should be very careful. We have to pay 100% care over the same. And then suppose it is authored by a book, you are going to cite, you are going to refer. It may be placed at the end of the page or end of the paper. Okay, two authors. Suppose it is a book written by two authors, C.J. Baker and not the symbol and A-N-T, and we are putting and then D.A. Washbrook, the title of the book, that is South India, colon, political institution and political change, and then period, and then we are putting all the details, Madras, Macmillan and Company, and then comma, here, the closing, and the PP, the etc., etc. And then three author, the same formula. There is no change in the case of one author, two authors, and the three authors. No change. That is the change is, and we have to add, and we have to add what, and C.J. Baker and D. Washbrook. And then more than three authors. Suppose the book is authored by more than three. Naming or typing almost all the authors is a tougher one, Himalayan task. It will be a difficult one. So that's why, as per the European manual, Chicago manual, we have to put it all. The first, we are going to name only the first author, GM Dutcher, and for the remaining, we are going to put it all. It all means and others, and then the title of the work. And the rest of the things are the same. So we have to look into that is it. Suppose the work is authored by more than 3, you have to place only one author, the name, and then you have to put it all. It all means others and others, lecture and others. The rest of the things are the common. And suppose another one, no author. There is a book. There is no possibility to identify the name of the author. There is no first page. There is no free face. There is no chance to identify, to locate the name of the author. So automatically you start with the book, the lottery, and then again all the same formalities. And another option is there. Suppose then the name of the author is not available. It is impossible to locate the name, identify the name. You have to type. You have to write anon means anonymous. Author is not known. So anon. There are 2 ways to present the book, but not given any authorship. The lottery, anon. So the 2 ways. You want to start with the book or to start with anonymous, and then rest of the things. Name given, no author given, name supplied. Author supplied. For example, you know about the cover page. Definitely in the cover page, the author must not, the name of the author must be there. Title and author. But there is a book, but in that case, the author name is not there. But the work is there. The name of the work is there. Art for its own sake. Art for the own sake. So in this case, suppose it is possible to identify the name of the author in a way or other, we can identify the author and place it in the bracket, the ordinary bracket, not in the square bracket. The rest of the things are same. So that is supplied name. As per the formula, as per the norms, the name of the author is not given in the front page, that is in the title page or the cover page. Both are the same. Cover page as well as the title page are the same. But there is no chance to identify the author's name either in the cover page or in the title page. If possible to identify the name from other sources, we can identify the name and it may be placed in the bracket. Entry is blank and the rest of the things are the same. And then suppose you are going to give as a reference a edited book. What about the method as per the common methodology? P.N. Chopra, that Chopra is not a author but a editor. As P.N. Chopra, the editor, we have to refer the same, that ed dot in bracket. India's struggle for freedom, role of associated movements, As usual, place, publication, year, closing, and then comma, page dot, page number dot. So edited work. We have to note down if it is edited work. We have to focus that it is an edited work. So for that purpose, we are putting ed in bracket, not fully edited. Ed. It means edited. And then translated book. It is suppose it is a translated book. That is, there must be a reference trans, and the rest of the things are the same. Place, publisher, year of publishing, closing, page, etc. etc. Suppose it is a revised book. For example, we are having now the 9th edition of the Turabian book. Suppose it is revised, we got to refer that because the book by Turabian published in 1967 having some chapters, but in addition to the chapters, the newly edited 9th, 7th editions are having some chapters regarding the process of research as well as the major components of the research, not only the methodology and different stages of research also included in the recent 7th as well as 9th edition. So under this provocation, that is, there must be some differences between the previous as well as recent editions. So that is provocation. On this ground, we have to refer all the details. Second edition revised, it should be given definitely. Suppose it is a revised book, you are going to place it as a reference in your footnote or in your endnote. You have to refer, you have to state compulsorily that second edition revised REV dot semicolon, etc. etc. So each and every form of work, translated, edited, revised, having its their own norms. Books of several volumes, same thing. For example, the book Geology, it is having a number of volumes. This is the common title, but varying volume by volume. So we have to differentiate the main topic as well as the specific topic. Here the main topic is, main title is Geology. The specific volume number 1 is Geologic Process and the Results. So we have to differentiate which is the main topic, what about the topic of the particular volume. The rest of the things are the same. And a privately printed book. Privately. Suppose it is printed, published by the author. What should be done? For example, R.T. Parthasarathi, Dawn and Achievement of Indian Freedom. It is published. It has been published from Jala, published by the author, not by a publishing company. It is published by the author R.T. Parthasarathi, and then it was published in the year 1953. The page number, the usual routine. By the difference is, suppose a book is published by, or a souvenir is published by, a book is published by the author, there must be a difference by noting that the publisher is the author, that by the author, by the author. You have to note down Salem, colon, by the author, here, by the author. We have to note down by the author. And Book with no publication. Book with no publication. For example, C.J. Nirmal, 19th Century Press and Development of Indian Nationalism, published from Madras, but there is no reference about publisher, name of the publisher. We are not aware of the publisher. We are not able to identify the publisher, locate the publisher. So automatically we are putting here NP, no publisher, in small letters, NP, and then ended up with the year and then closing. Book with no place. Book with no place. That is here, H.G. Muller, Raj in India, no place. That is it. We can't identify the place where it published from. So no place. Previously, that is no publisher. In the second case, no place. No place. So that's why we are putting here N.P, and then again NH publishes 1953 as usual page number. And a book with no place. First, as per the formula, as per the research methodology ethics, we have to put in the case of history, that is place, publisher, and then year. There is no availability of place. The detail is not available. That's why we are placing here NP and then NH publisher and then 1950, the usual things. And then another one is no date. K. Nagarajan, Annamalai University, 1923-1979, a short history. That is, the place is there, publisher is there, but a year is not available. No date, ND. We are looking, you have to look here, that ND. No date, no year of publication. So we have to keep in mind NP, no publication. NP, no place. ND, no date. You have to note down these things. It is a classical work. So simply that is simply we have to put what about the author, what about the work, and then chapter, and then etc. etc. There is no reference like publication, year, etc. etc. These are standard works, unbiased. So automatically we are putting here only the author as well as his work. Touch as well. Clicks the work and then chapter and section. That is enough. Suppose it is a newspaper. What should be done? Simple one. The Hindu, August 7th, 2020. That is enough. Suppose you are willing, you can add place of edition as well as the page number. This is calm. This is calm. The Hindu, August 7th, not 7 August, 7th August. That is August and then number. August 7th, not 7th August, August 7th, 2020. And then research paper. Suppose you are going to include a research paper in the reference, in your footnote or in your endnote. That is, for example, here, R.D. Chowdhury. That is the title of the article is Swadeshi Movement within double quotation, double quote, double quotation. Usually in the case of books, etc., we have to italicize the title of the book. Not in the case of the research paper, it should not be italicized. Only put in the quotation, double quote, double quotation. This is the difference between the research paper and the book. In the book, the title of the book is italicized. In the case of the paper, not italicized. Instead of that, put it within the bracket. Double quotation, not bracket, double quotation. So there is a moment, that is the article title that has been given within the double quotation. And the name of the journal is given in italics. Italics. This is the difference. In the case of the book name of the book is italicized. In the case of the journal, the name of the journal is italicized. So this is the difference. And then dissertation. Dissertation. Suppose a PhD work, a dissertation. Suppose it is not published, we have to follow this method. G. Chandrika, the influence of Western thought on the Buddha movement in Tamil Nadu. Within the quotation, double quotation, not to be italicized, and then bracket, unpublished PhD dissertation, Department of History, Anna University. So there is a difference in the case of a research paper as well as a dissertation. We have to note down the difference. Otherwise, the paper may be considered as unworthy. Legal citation, legal references, legal document. Suppose there is a document, legal document. We have to simply put Illinois Constitution, year, article number, section number 37, the Indian Constitution, the article number, section number 37. There is no need to elaborate the publisher, the year, etc., etc. The page number. Simply, that is the legal reference, and then sections and other title, other details, not the publication year and the rest of the things. There is no need in the case of the legal citation, legal reference, to include almost all the formalities, common things. Year, publication, place of publication, etc., etc. And then encyclopedia. Simply we have to put the topic of the content, history, within the double quotation, and then name of the encyclopedia. That is enough. And then volume, page number. There is no need to add unnecessarily the rest of the things. Only the content, the topic, and then name of the encyclopedia, and then edition, volume, page number. Letter, and then letter correspondences. Letter correspondences. Letter from, for example, letter from T. Murthy, Secretary State for Rhode Island and Providence Plantation State, Public Welfare Commission, June. That is enough. Letter from whom? That is enough. Dated. That is enough. The interview. Interviewed. T.T. Appavu, interviewed. What about the designation? The freedom fighter. What about the place? Thiruvennai Nallur. What about the date? So that is enough. So already we have referred almost all things. What about the article? dissertation, books by one author, two authors, three authors, more than three authors, etc. etc. Suppose the same books or the same dissertation, same thing happen to be repeat. What to do? Suppose we have to refer this book or other. First time we have to write all the things up to the page number. Suppose the same references, the same footnote or the endnotes repeating again, what should do? We have to have three methods. Repeat. And for example, A Sankari, Students of Panama University and Indian Freedom Struggle. This is the book. First time I quoted as it is, following the usual formality. Author name, title of the book, place of the publication, publisher detail, and then year of publication, and rest of the part. First time it is used, so there is nothing change. But I suppose we are going to refer immediately. We have to put ebit. Ebit means ebidum in Latin, in the same place. In the same place. Ebit means ebidum in Latin, meaning in the same place. The first statement is also taken from the source one. The second content, second text is also taken from the same. The third difference is, for example, first time all the thing, totally we have to write all the things. Second time, as it is the ebit. The third is ebit, but the page number is differs. Page number is differing. First time, the whole book, whole details. Suppose it is immediately repeating ebit with the full stop. The page number is also the same 5. Suppose the page number is varying, we have to put ebit and dot comma P8. This is the difference. This is the difference. First time full. Second, suppose the same book is repeating second time immediately. That is repeat. Suppose it is again repeating, but the page number is varying. We have to put a different page number. Ebidum in the same place. I have referred the data or information. I have acquired the information from the same. Offset in the work cited. Suppose the work is repeated immediately, we have to put repeat. Suppose the work is not repeating immediately, intermittently, we have to put, that is author as well as offset. So first time we have to refer all the things. Suppose it is repeating after some gap, we have to put the others' names and offset, avoiding rest of the things. There is no need. The same book. First time we have to set all the things. So under this provocation and this, there is no need to rewrite or retype the entire thing. Simply it is enough to put offset, the same work. Offset means the same work. Already said R. Sundaralingam's Politics and Nationalist Awakening in India, the same work. In the number first, it has been cited. Again in the number 5, it has been cited. So under this, there is no After this, there is no. Okay, as it is repeating, there is no need to write again the title of the book, etc., etc. Simply we are putting opposite. Like here in the case of the 7, Sundaralingam, but at the same time the page number is varying. Previously 299. In the 7th place it is 310, so automatically we are going to differentiate the page only. That is enough. See, beat opposite and locks it in the place cited. In the place cited. In the place means in the page cited. In the page cited. Already that is first time you have to give all the details as usual. That is author name, book, place, publication, year, etc., etc. But suppose it is going to repeat, we have to simplify the same and present like that. Whole, log sheet, page number. There is no need to elaborate all the things because the single author, the single book. So there is no need to add almost all the things. Simply you have to, even they are avoiding the initial. Only the name of the author only. That is enough. That is enough. So for second and later references, we have to apply 3 methods. Repeat, opposite, lockset. Repeat, opposite, and lockset. This is the last cross reference. Suppose we have written an article, a research paper, which is consisting of 25 pages. 25 pages. It is having more than 50 references in the footnote or in the endnote. For example, we are having our article, our research paper, pages having more than 25 or 20, for example. There is a possibility for referring our own paper in the place of footnote as well as in the endnotes. Cross-reference. My article, for example, my article is having consisting of 25 pages. From the research paper itself, we may supply some references. For example, now I am in the page number 5. My article is consisting of 25 pages. Now I am in the page number 5. In the page number 5, the footnote number or endnote number is 15. The 15 is, I have to put Supra. Supra means above. Infra means below. So 25 pages. I have to refer in the footnote or in the endnote my research paper. I have to use the word Supra. Supra means above. For example, reference number 25. I have to put 25 and then put Supra. Page number 9. That means the reference 15 is going to say that you have to refer the article page number 9. I have to explain again. My article is consisting of 25 pages. The 15th reference is Supra. 15th reference is Supra. Page number 9, for example. Suppose there is a direction that supra, page number 9. We have to refer the article, my article. I have to refer my article, myself, or the readers may be. So, Subra provides some possibility to refer our own articles and consider it as a reference. Our article itself a reference. Our article itself a reference. So suppose the number is, the article is consisting of 25 pages. That is, the number is 20, reference number is 20. I have to say that you have to refer page number 25 of my article. So in some of the cases, if essential, we have to refer our own research paper or chapter or the thesis. This is third method of citation formatting. The first is first time reference. The second is second or more references. The third is cross reference. First is first time. Second is e-bead, offset, logset. Third one is this cross reference. If essential, if possible, our work may be considered as reference. For referring the page above, we have to put supra. For referring the page below, we have to put infra. So these are the formalities. So my presentation is based on the manual for writers of research purpose thesis and recitation, 7th edition. It is revised by Van G. Booth, G. Tom, Joseph M. Williams, and the University of Chicago Press editorial staff. So apart from the book, there are number of works which will help us to understand more about the citation, both for the research paper or the dissertation. For example, Cite Right, written by Charles Lippmann. And another one is Getting It Published, William Germano. On Writing, Editing and Publishing, Joseph. So there are, apart from Durabian, there are number of works which will definitely guide us to make our paper 100% perfect, more qualitative and sharpest edged. So with this point, I have to conclude my presentation on citations or footnote or endnotes. If any query, you can raise your hands or chat through the chat box.
Bindu ma'am, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
முன்னாடி படிச்சேன்.
நம்ம book
இந்த book கேக்குறாங்க. இது எதுவும் கேக்குறாங்க. என்ன பிரச்சனை?
you can ask the question through chat box. You can send through the
Ma'am?
in research article should be follow endnote.
That is, there is a question in a research article should be follow the endnote. It is advisable as well as very nice and appropriate and apt, because that is each and every research paper is only consisting of 20-25 pages. So under this, it is better to put all the references at the end of the paper.
Suresh sir, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions.
Hello, madam. Good evening.
Evening, sir.
It's a fine class. We are expecting such a class like this. My question is, some archival documents. Yesterday I asked on webinar, some archival documents said no author or any documentation. There is only book is binded. No other information. It's a pages such as Bibliography.
Sir, in cases,
Mushagavamsham, such a type of books, there is no author is to mention. There is no year is to mention. How it footnote it?
Madam, sir, already I have noted that there are some rules and regulation to put such type of cases. Suppose no date, you have to put only no ND. No place means NP. Similarly, already you have to show my PowerPoint, sir, now.
Thank you, madam. Thank you.
1 minute, sir. 1 minute. You have to.
Madam, is it possible to give the video, because to give to our PhD students? I am working as an assistant. I am working as an assistant professor in a university college, Trivandrum.
Okay. Sir, hello.
Hello.
Sir, you see the PowerPoint, sir.
Yes.
There are number of references. Suppose what to do? Suppose there is no date. For example, book with no publication. You have to refer first, second, third. Book with no publication. C.J. Nirmal, 19th Century Press and Development of India. Can you hear me, sir?
Yes, madam.
Third book. The third book is for, suppose you have to come across book without no publication, NP. The another book is book with no place, NP, NH Publishers. And the another one is book with no date. So there is a chance to include almost all the data we have to collect as per the methodology.
Okay,
whatever the thing, it is authentic, we have to include. The methodology allows.
Okay, madam. Okay. Thank you, madam. Thank you for your
Thank you, sir.
valuable information. Thank you, madam.
Karthik sir, you can unmute yourself and ask your questions. Is footnotes and endnotes same or any difference?
Sir, there is a question from Anil Kumar. Aswin Kumar dash, is footnote and endnote same or
any difference?
Any difference? Already I discussed almost all the things. That is, both are not same, different. The footnote is a form of style which that is the references are given at the end of the page. Sir, footnote
Okay.
is end of the page. Endnote means end of the paper. Endnote means end of the paper.
Already you shared the recorded video group link in the YouTube WhatsApp group.
Share recorded video. Yes, sir, already we have to share. We have to share the recorded video for the sake of the knowledge of the young scholars.
Which bibliography style is well suited for PhD thesis?
Madam, already I have said that there are a number of styles, both for bibliography as well as the citation, reference, endnote, footnote, etc., etc. That is as per generally accepted advisable style is Chicago or Turabian style, both for bibliography as well as citation, that is references.
Okay.
There is a query. Please share some of the UG care listed journal. Madam, ma'am, Nageshwar Kumar. That is definitely tomorrow we will share the UGC care listed journal. Tomorrow there is a session on how to access the top listed journals. So that is definitely we will share tomorrow. Okay, Karan.
Okay.
We are at the final penultimate stage of the 10th session of the faculty development program organized by East Wing DDE and Annamalai University. I am ever thankful to the participants for their effective interactive participation. Thank you each and everyone who are associated with our academic endeavor. Thank you.